Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring what makes working in higher education so rewarding.
Yeah.
We've got some fascinating data
Oh, yeah, we do.
from almost 80 UK universities,
Nearly 8.
giving us a real insider's look at the employee experience.
And you might be surprised by what we find.
Oh, I think so.
We're going to go beyond the usual assumptions about academia and really get into the heart of what it's like to work at a university.
So whether you're considering a career change, simply curious about university life,
Right.
or maybe even reminiscing about your own student days, this deep dive is for you.
I think a lot of people will enjoy this one.
I think so too. One of the things that really struck me was this statistic: 89% of university employees genuinely care about their institution's future.
Wow.
What's driving that level of dedication?
I think it really speaks to the fact that for many people, working in higher education is more than just a job. The research highlights how intellectually stimulating and emotionally fulfilling this work can be, particularly for academics who are, deeply passionate about their fields.
It's interesting because 72% also said their institution motivates them to do their best work.
Really?
You don't hear that every day, especially not across entire industries.
Right, that's right. It points to a really positive and motivating environment.
Yeah?
And speaking of the work environment, let's talk about the sense of community.
Okay.
74% of employees in these universities report feeling strong camaraderie and support from their peers.
That makes me think about those stereotypes of stuffy academics working in isolation.
Yeah.
What kind of workplace relationships are we actually seeing here?
The research paints a very different picture.
Okay.
The words that come up repeatedly are friendly, supportive, and kind.
Oh, wow.
It seems like there's a real sense of community within teams and a genuine warmth in how colleagues interact with each other.
So it's not just about the work itself.
Yeah.
It's about the people you're working with.
Yeah, and that can make
That can make all the difference.
all the difference in how you feel about going to work each day.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I think that sense of belonging feeds into another important finding,
Okay.
a strong sense of purpose.
Yeah.
A whopping 81% of university employees feel that their work directly contributes to the institution's goals.
Okay, so no one's feeling like a cog in a giant machine.
Right.
They can see the impact of their work.
Exactly. And this sense of purpose isn't limited to just the academics.
Right.
Whether you're a researcher pushing the boundaries of knowledge,
Yeah.
a student support staff member guiding the next generation, or someone working behind the scenes to ensure everything runs smoothly, everyone plays a part in achieving the university's mission.
That's a great point. It sounds like there's a sense of collective effort and shared goals that creates a very motivating environment. But what about leadership?
Leadership.
What role does that play in shaping the employee experience?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We've got another striking statistic here. 84% of employees feel treated fairly and with respect by their line managers. That's pretty impressive. What makes higher ed leadership stand out?
Well, communication seems to be key. Line managers in universities are consistently described as approachable, respectful, and considerate. They seem to excel at setting clear expectations, providing constructive feedback, and keeping their team members informed.
It's interesting because it challenges the stereotype of the aloof and accessible professor, doesn't it?
It does. There seems to be a very different leadership style at play here, one that emphasizes open dialogue and a genuine concern for employee well-being.
That makes sense, especially considering the intellectual and often independent nature of work in academia. Speaking of which, one of the things that stood out to me in this research was the emphasis on autonomy and flexibility.
Oh, yeah.
80% of respondents said they have the freedom they need to get their work done. Now, that's something many people dream of.
Absolutely. And this flexibility is rooted in the very nature of academic work, which often requires independent thought, deep focus, and the ability to dive into those research rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Universities seem to recognize this need for autonomy and empower their employees to structure their work in a way that best suits their individual needs and preferences.
So it's not just about what you're working on, but how you get to work on it.
Exactly.
It sounds like universities are offering a level of flexibility that's becoming increasingly sought after in today's work world.
It is, yeah. And this applies to professional and support staff roles as well.
Okay.
We're seeing a rise in hybrid and flexible work models, which can be particularly appealing for those who value a better work-life balance.
It's fascinating to see how these different elements, passionate people, a strong sense of community, supportive leadership, and flexibility, come together to create a really positive work environment in higher education. But of course, no workplace is perfect. right?
You're absolutely right.
What about the challenges?
Even in a sector as rewarding as higher education, there are bound to be challenges and areas for improvement, and that's something the research acknowledges as well.
So it's not just about celebrating the positives, but also about recognizing where things could be better and actively working towards solutions.
Exactly. Universities are increasingly emphasizing the importance of ongoing listening and improvement.
Okay.
Regularly surveying employees, benchmarking against other institutions, and being open to feedback are all critical steps in maintaining a positive work environment and adapting to the ever-evolving needs of the workforce.
It sounds like there's a real commitment to continuous improvement in the sector.
There is, and that's encouraging because it means that universities are striving to create a workplace where employees feel valued, supported, and empowered to do their best work.
Now, before we move on to some of the other fascinating aspects of the higher education work experience, I have to ask, what about those who are listening and thinking, hey, maybe a career in higher education is for me?
Well, if all this talk of passion, purpose, and community has sparked an interest, I'd recommend checking out academicjobs.com.
That's a great suggestion. They have listings for top universities, not just locally, but globally,
Yeah.
giving you a wide range of options to explore.
And they're doing some really interesting work with staff surveys to help universities maintain that positive culture we've been talking about.
So whether you're actively searching for a new role or simply curious about what's out there, academicjobs.com is definitely worth a look. Now let's shift our focus to the unique challenges and rewards of academic life itself.
Okay, that's a world unto itself, and we've got some great insights on that coming up.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We've talked about the overall work environment in higher education,
Right.
but now I'm curious to delve deeper into what makes academic work itself
Jealous.
so distinctive.
Uh-huh.
What insights did the research uncover about the experiences of academics?
Well, one thing that really jumps out is the emphasis on intellectual challenge for academics. It's not just about having a job. It's about pursuing their passions, diving deep into specific areas of expertise, and pushing the boundaries of knowledge.
So it's almost like their work is their hobby,
Yeah.
a constant pursuit of what fascinates them.
That's a great way to put it. This intellectual stimulation is a major driver of job satisfaction.
Okay.
The research shows that academics derive immense satisfaction from exploring complex ideas, conducting research, and contributing new knowledge to their fields.
It's as if they're getting paid to think deeply about things that they'd likely be pondering anyway.
Right.
But it's not just about personal intellectual fulfillment, right?
Right.
There's also a strong desire to make a difference in the wider world.
Absolutely. Many academics see their work as directly impacting their field of study, whether it's through groundbreaking research, publishing influential articles, or presenting at international conferences. There's a real drive to contribute something meaningful to the larger body of knowledge.
It sounds like there's a real element of legacy building here, of leaving a lasting mark on their field.
Yeah, and it's not just about individual impact either.
Okay.
Academics also play a crucial role in shaping the minds of future generations. Think about the influence of a truly inspiring professor, someone who ignites a passion for learning in their students and changes how they see the world.
I can definitely relate to that. I have a few professors who completely changed my perspective and inspired me to pursue my own intellectual passions. It's a powerful responsibility to have that kind of impact on someone's life.
It is, and the research highlights how rewarding academics find this aspect of their work. Mentoring students, seeing them grow and develop their own intellectual curiosity, that's a source of immense satisfaction.
We've been talking about a lot of positives, intellectual stimulation, the drive to make a difference, the chance to mentor future generations.
Yeah,
But let's be realistic. No job is without its challenges.
of course.
What are some of the unique pressures that academics face?
Well, one of the biggest ones is the pressure to publish.
Yeah.
The publish or perish culture of academia can be quite intense. There's constant pressure to produce research, publish in top-tier journals, and secure grants. It's a very competitive world.
And this pressure can lead to some downsides, right?
Unfortunately, yes, it can sometimes contribute to long hours, heavy workloads, and even burnout. Universities are becoming increasingly aware of this issue and are taking steps to promote work-life balance and support the well-being of their academic staff.
It sounds like finding a sustainable balance is crucial. Passion is fantastic, but it needs to be sustainable in the long run.
Precisely. And that's where those supportive workplace relationships we talked about earlier become even more crucial. Having colleagues who understand the unique pressures of academic life, who can offer support and encouragement that makes a world of difference in navigating those challenges.
It's all about creating a culture where academics feel supported and valued, not just pressured to perform.
Absolutely. And while we focused on academics, it's important to remember that professional and support staff play a vital role in the university ecosystem as well.
Right.
They may not be on the tenure track,
Yeah.
but they're essential in supporting the academic mission.
Thinking back to my own time on campus, I remember how crucial those non-academic staff members were. The librarians who helped me find obscure research papers.
Right.
The administrative staff who somehow navigated all the bureaucratic hurdles. They were lifesavers.
They really are, and their contributions are often undervalued.
Yeah.
They're the ones ensuring that the university runs smoothly, supporting students, managing resources. They're the backbone of the institution.
And it sounds like they find a lot of satisfaction in their work, too.
Yeah.
Right? Contributing to the university's mission, even if it's not directly in a teaching or research role.
Yes, the research suggests that they feel a strong sense of belonging to the university community and take pride in knowing they're making a difference in students' lives.
It all comes back to that sense of purpose, doesn't it? Whether you're a world-renowned professor or a dedicated administrative assistant.
Exactly.
There's a shared sense of contributing to something bigger than yourself.
Yeah. That's the beauty of higher education. It brings together people from all walks of life with diverse skills and backgrounds, all united by a common goal to advance knowledge, to nurture the next generation of thinkers and leaders.
It's a powerful mission, and it sounds like it fosters a pretty special work environment.
It does.
But let's zoom in on one particular aspect of the higher education workplace, the relationship between employees and their line managers.
Okay.
Especially because that 84% satisfaction rate we mentioned earlier is quite remarkable.
It is.
What are the secrets behind those positive leadership dynamics?
Let's uncover those secrets.
Let's do it. We've been talking about this positive work environment in universities.
Right.
But that 84% satisfaction rate with line managers
Yeah.
really caught my attention.
Hmm.
What's contributing to that level of positive leadership?
Well, the research suggests that clear and consistent communication is a major factor.
Okay.
Line managers in universities seem to be particularly skilled at conveying expectations, providing constructive feedback, and keeping their team members informed.
So it's not a culture of micromanaging or leaving people in the dark about what's expected of them?
No, from the data we've analyzed, it seems like there's a real emphasis on open dialogue, and accessibility employees feel comfortable approaching their line managers with questions or concerns.
So that open door policy actually means something in higher education.
It appears so, and this approachable management style fosters a sense of trust and mutual respect, which is essential for any healthy workplace,
Right.
but perhaps even more so in a university setting where collaboration and intellectual exchange are so important.
But respect is a two-way street, right?
Yes.
It's not just about the manager being approachable. It's also about the employee feeling valued and trusted.
You're absolutely right. And that brings us to another interesting finding.
Okay.
Higher ed line managers excel at empowering their team members. They give them the freedom and flexibility to get the job done while still providing guidance and support when needed.
It's about finding that delicate balance between autonomy and support.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I trust you to do great work, but I'm here if you need me.
Exactly. And this approach seems to resonate particularly well with employees in an environment like academia, where independent thought and innovation are so highly valued.
It sounds like that trust from a manager can actually fuel creativity and productivity.
That's the idea. Now, it's important to remember that no workplace is perfect, and even in higher education, there are bound to be areas where things could be better.
Right.
That's why the research emphasizes the importance of ongoing listening and adaptation.
So it's not just about acknowledging the positive aspects, but also about recognizing where things could improve and taking steps to make those improvements.
Precisely, regularly surveying employees, benchmarking against other institutions, being open to feedback. These are all crucial steps in maintaining a positive work environment and adapting to the ever-evolving needs of the workforce.
It sounds like institutions are taking this to heart, not just resting on their laurels.
The research suggests that there is a genuine commitment to continuous improvement in the higher education sector, which is encouraging. It means that universities are actively striving to create a workplace where employees feel valued, supported, and empowered.
That's great to hear. So for anyone listening who might be considering a career in higher education,
Yeah,
it seems like there's a lot to be excited about.
there is.
Passionate people, a strong sense of community, supportive leadership opportunities for growth, and the chance to be part of something truly meaningful, shaping the future, as you said earlier.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling inspired to explore those possibilities, I'd recommend checking out academicjobs.com.
Oh, yeah.
They have a wealth of resources for anyone interested in higher education careers.
They really do. From job listings at top universities locally and globally to insights into workplace culture based on staff surveys, they've got it all.
It's a great place to start your journey into the world of higher education.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the higher education work experience. It's certainly given me a new perspective on what it means to work at a university.
I'm glad to hear that it's a sector that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, there's a lot to appreciate about the work environment and the people who contribute to it.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Likewise.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into a fascinating topic.